Hello again.
Hello.
Doobies and Movies 11. Uh, this week we're on His Dark Materials, episode 4 of season 2, The Tower of the Angels. Yeah, I think that was probably the best episode of the season yet.
Easy, mate.
Um, Thought the main thing that came out of it was obviously Andrew Scott playing Jopari, who I always read that as Jopari in the books, but I don't know if
Yeah,
that
me
was just
too. Me
like a
too. But
subconscious thing. But yeah, Jopari or Grumman, yeah, he was sick, to be
he was so
honest.
good, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
he
everything
was.
he was saying was wicked.
Yeah, and all the conversations with him and Lee were
Mm.
pretty cool and like um yeah, just a bit more real. I don't know. Their interactions felt a bit more human and a bit more real, and it was like, yeah, when they put the good actors in the same scene, like I say, it usually does work.
Yeah, that's it.
And
I mean, he's so good, isn't he?
yeah, I mean,
What's the name of the actor?
Andrew Scott.
Bruce. Andrew Scott. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, he's absolutely fantastic. He was
Yeah,
so
I
good
was
in this.
always like unsure because it's Sherlock. He's just like crazy evil. So I don't know with that. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people could do the psycho thing, but I would like. It was quite interested to see him in quite a nuanced role like Jopari, and I think he was really good.
Yeah, and the
Also,
stuff he was saying about Lord Asriel was very cool as well. Like,
yeah,
really
yeah,
starting to get an idea of the overall plot of the whole show.
yeah. I felt like that was it. That in that whole episode,
Mm.
again on the perspective of the people that haven't read the books, I thought that was one of the best ones that get starting to introduce them to what the plot actually
I think
is.
now they're going to be like,
Yeah.
oh wow, the show is actually sick. This is actually
Mm.
really touching some interesting bits. Like the whole bit of Mary Malone as well in the cave,
Oh
where
yeah,
they're
that
like,
was
oh,
sick.
we're angels. She's actually talking to the dust. I thought that was wicked.
Yeah,
So
that was really good. That was straight from the books, really, as well, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
And also Terence Stamp, big old acting legend, actually did the voice of Lord Asriel on radio. He
Oh,
was
is he
he
the Mr.
Yeah, Giacomo
What's it?
Paradisi. Yeah,
Paradise. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
he was really good. He added that kind of I don't know, old Shakespearean vibe to kind of the character.
Just that
Um,
moment. I love that moment where like Will gets his hand cut and he sees it and he's like, "Fight, boy!"
yeah,
And then he starts
yeah,
fucking banging him out. It's just so. Just
that
that
was
little.
good.
Great.
And I also
Oh,
thought that that scene could have been quite cringy with like kids fighting. They kind of did it
mm.
all right, and like when he comes out the window and you see the huge like view from the window, you had that vertigo
Yeah.
thing, and
I thought it
yeah,
was a great fight. I thought it was a really well done bit of action, to be honest, considering that I don't think their action's been great so far.
no,
I
I
thought
think
it
that's
was
actually a
good.
thing. Even the bit at the end where the witches come in and banged
I
everyone
was going to
out.
say, that's like the one witches bit I've enjoyed where they're just
Yeah,
banging out the Zeppelins. It was sick.
yeah, that
I
was
mean, their
actually
conversation
good.
in the woods was still very
Was
annoying
still
to me.
stupid. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the bit when they're banging out the Zeppelins was sick, no
They,
doubt.
I don't know why they haven't felt with the witches like there's any need to really develop them. I don't know why they rushed them so much. I really feel
Mm.
they could have had their own episode, or like you say, half an episode to kind of
And
develop them.
Seraphina's so just so cold and dead. I don't know.
Yeah,
Even though she's getting a bit emotive in this episode, it's just I just don't feel it. I don't know. Just seems. I know they're trying to make her like not very human. That's the point of her being a witch, but I don't know. Surely there's a way to do that where you can still care about her and she can like, have real emotions. You know?
yeah. I just wonder whether it was just a second thought, an afterthought. They got all these main characters down and thought about how they'd be, and they were like, "Oh, the witches will just kind of sort themselves out." I don't know. It kind of
Yeah,
feels a bit like an afterthought. They're only there when the plot necessitates them to be there.
for
Otherwise,
sure.
they're not there. I don't know. They're kind of just the thing they keep seeming to get wrong.
Hmm.
Um, but um, yeah. So what else? The subtle knife was obviously introduced properly this episode with that
Yeah, I love the
kind of
way he cut the window as well. Another
yeah. That
nice
was
little. I
sick,
thought the
and
visual of that was really good.
the way where he closed the window as well with his fingers.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was all sick. The exposition at the beginning was a bit Lord of the Rings. You know that like
it was.
there's one
I thought it
ring
was
to rule
cool
them
though.
all.
They
Yeah,
guild of craftsmen or whatever.
I
Yeah,
didn't mind it, to be honest. I prefer exposition like that than exposition where two people are talking and it doesn't feel organic. They feel like they're just telling you plot things. I
yeah,
prefer it when
totally.
they just straight up like this is exposition. I'm like, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
tell me that like that. I did prefer it like that. Um, and then what else? I was a bit disappointed. that the stealing the alethiometer wasn't happening this episode. It's happening next episode.
Yeah, because I thought because they got the subtle knife so quickly, I thought they might just move straight onto that. But I think it's quite a long thing in the books. I'm stealing the alethiometer. I think
Like, I don't really remember.
quite a
So
lot takes place there. I can't remember either. I feel like she might meet Mrs. Coulter.
well,
Like
yeah.
Mrs. Coulter sees her again, and she escapes her window. I think it's like it's enough that it's kind of a whole.
So
episode
maybe
thing.
they're really gonna make it a big long set piece rather than just
Yeah, I
shooting
think
it
so.
in. Well, that would
I
be
think-
cool to see.
Yeah, definitely.
So that kind of leads naturally to the other part of the episode, which is probably Miss Coulter and Boreal.
Yeah.
There was one thing that I was a bit confused on, was that he kind of talks as if he's very recently found the window, right? So that means that what he was doing in season 1, he had just found the window, but wasn't in the books he Charles Latrom for quite a while.
Yeah, he is. Of course he is. No, I think the point is more. I think that's what he told her.
Oh, okay, but he really has been traveling through the worlds for longer.
Yeah, totally. I think he was
Yeah.
a little bit ambiguous about it, but they're not really supposed to know about the other worlds, right? In the Magisterium, it's like heresy to talk of other worlds.
Yeah,
so
yeah, sure.
I think he's got to be a bit careful there. But yeah, he's definitely been he's definitely been in our world for a long time, no doubt.
In our world.
In our world, yeah.
No, that he's been good, to be fair. And it did actually make me think, go back to season 1. Those additions they made to season 1 were quite good, with Boreal and showing him go between the worlds. I thought that was good. However, I did think showing footage of Andrew Scott in season 1 does kind of lessen the impact of him, because I think they wanted to give him something to do in season 1. Still show Andrew Scott's in this and like not have him just waiting till season 2.
Yeah.
But if you had just completely no idea who he was, I think it would have hit harder when you found out.
Yeah, that's true.
I think most people have already clocked it now.
Because you've seen the pictures, you know, he's a big actor. You're going to spot him. You spot him in the pictures in Will's house, and you spot him in season 1. And so,
do you know?
yeah, it's true. And in the books, you never got that.
Exactly, you didn't know.
You would have figured out that they were the same person.
Yeah.
But most people didn't know. I think, as most people, it's a it hits a lot harder. I think you're right about that. To be fair.
Yeah, I think people could have worked it out from what he said anyway. That do you know what I mean? They could. There was enough clues there anyway that you don't need to just give it away. I think that's one thing that I kind of clocked in this episode, that as a book reader, I don't like the way they kind of handled that. But they cast him brilliantly, and I do think those scenes between Lee and Jopari were my favorite scenes in the show up till now. It was just good, actual deep convos between people that kind of stuck in this crazy position, and Lee's just I'm loving Lee more and more. And I didn't like him in the books. Or I didn't hate him in the books, but I was more Yarick and fascinated by Azrael and Coulter and stuff like that.
Great in the books.
He was.
I think it's the thing with, like, you know, Lord Azrael's got this big mission, Grumman or Jopari's got this big mission, and Lee Scoresby just kind of wants to help out Lyra, you know?
Yeah.
Big grand things. He just loves Lyra and wants to help her out, which is nice. It's like really puts that more human side to it as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think
really good.
I think that's the core of fantasy, isn't it? When you have that, I mean, in most of those, when you have that character that is so amazed by like a cause or an idea or a human being that like that they want to follow it, kind of thing, or protect it. I like that with Lee. I do think that's something that they've done really well, and with Yarick as well. When he eventually comes back into it. How much is he even in the second book? Not that much, right?
Not a huge amount. I think he comes in at the end. Pretty sure he comes into Chittigazi at the end, I think.
I'm back on the train, to be honest. There is there's a constant irritance with certain things.
Yeah.
Like, this is one thing, I'm happy I remembered it. You know, when Mary Malone's mate that she works with, he's just there to contradict her. Do you know what I mean? His whole purpose is as a character.
A bit of a dick in the book. I swear he kind of betrays her at some point.
Yeah, possibly, but wouldn't you prefer a more like normal conversation between two people when they're like debating the finance thing from Boreal? I think if Mary was a little bit less immediately no about it, and he was a little bit less immediately yes, you would have had a more natural, nuanced conversation about
because it probably would have been hard for her as well, right? She's like, oh man, this thing that I think is really important is going to get shut down, but I can't accept defense funding, you know?
Exactly. They could have had a more deep conversation on ethics instead of her being like, no, this isn't ethical, and him being like, oh, I'm here to contradict you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
That's
didn't really mind that bit too much, to be honest. But no, I do see what you mean. And yeah, I mean, I might have been more interested because it's not like the guy's a dick, you know. He's just like, but it's kind of, I think, the fact that he doesn't really believe Mary, and the only reason that she's so adamantly no is because she's seen what it can do. She's seen what Lyra can do with this machine.
Yeah, I get it.
He doesn't quite believe that, and so she's like, "Oh, I just want funding for this project." Where she's like, "No, look, if the military gets hold of this, it's fucked," you know. And he just doesn't quite believe that it's that powerful.
No, and I get that that would be a conversation that they'd have, but it's just the fact that it's just those areas with the show where I think humans aren't so black and white, and I think their conversations aren't just yes or no, especially with a close colleague that you've been working with for so many years. Like, and I feel like in both scenes that he's been in, he's just been there to contradict her. Like, and so you can see her personality mirrored through him, which I don't think is good writing. I think good writing comes from having more genuine dialogue between two people and you trying to suss them out over time. But instead, I think they're trying to show you Mary Malone's honorable, Mary Malone's good, like all of this, and using him as this contradictory mirror. Which I just think it's lazy writing. That's all. It's not a big deal. I just think it's lazy writing. But on the whole, yeah, I think we've probably mentioned everything. The knife, the witches, the fact that Will is now officially the bearer of the subtle knife.
And Will and Lyra's chats as well, like the bit where Will,
when
the bit where Pantaleimon comes up to him,
and touches
that was a lot of nice bits. Nice bits.
And also when she's the one that gives him like the meditative that helps him like open the window. Do you know what I mean? Like you gotta let go of your pain kind of speech. That was good. Yeah, it did feel like suddenly the cogs were moving, and maybe you were right that the beginning of Subtle Knife in the book was just the most murky part. So therefore, the start of season 2 was going to be murky.
Yeah, and for me as well, like as soon as they're talking about their angels, Maryland's having the conversation with the computer. That to me like reminded me like, oh shit, this gets really, really sick. Like we are going to see all of that crazy shit that's in the third book, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to still. Like, there's no way the third season could be bad. It's like...
It just gets so sick. It gets so stupidly sick. So, yeah, I mean, and if they can pull off an episode like that well, then to me, I've got a lot of faith for when it starts getting really sick that they'll really do well. Because the third book, there's not going to be, I hope there wouldn't be any episodes where it's even remotely like slow. Because
there's got to be, they open a lot, so I think they might struggle the first few episodes again. Just the way it's written and the unnatural conversations and stuff. I do think there might be a bit of like lag at the beginning of season 3, especially if they split it into 2. But when they get going, I'm sure it will be sick. One more thing we didn't talk about actually was the Spectres. That we'd only briefly seen in the distance, but we actually saw them fully like take people out, take out Paradisi once he lost the subtle knife. He couldn't defend himself against them anymore.
They didn't take him out. He killed himself.
Oh, but so they wouldn't take him out, right?
So they wouldn't take him out.
Yeah, because he didn't have the knife.
And then he like fully died.
Yeah. But we saw them kind of suck his body up at the end, right?
No. We saw them leave. No, they go to his body and then he leaves instead.
Okay.
Get him, but then they get the kid, whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, the serial killer kid.
Yeah.
But also Miss Coulter doesn't seem scared when she sees one. That was a little interesting thing as well. That they had her just like kind of see one and seem a bit unfazed. But I thought they did the Spectres quite well. It was quite cool and quite scary, to be fair. No, I'd give that episode a high 7, I think, out of 10.
Yeah, I was just gonna say 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
it was good.
I'm tempted to, but there's just too much still lag and awkwardness still that has to be ironed out for me to be giving it 8s. But it's definitely improving. Sure. It's definitely improving. And as a mid-season, I guess, episode, there's still half of the season left, so there's a lot to do. They have the time to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it should be good.
Yeah, so that was the 11th episode of Doobies and Movies. Got a couple coming, got the monthly roundup, got a Fargo season 4, reviews on my on my website. Other than that, live strong, live good, safe.